On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Graduated.
Having received a degree from a school, college, or university, marked with or divided into levels or degrees.
Examples:
Graduated taxation. Graduated flask. She was a graduated student of a prestigious university.
Dual.
Having two parts, aspects, or elements.
Examples:
Dual purpose. Dual nationality. This laptop has a dual-core processor, making it fast and efficient.
Degree.
A unit of measurement for angles, temperature, or level of proficiency or achievement, a rank or level of academic or professional attainment.
Examples:
Bachelor's degree. Degree centigrade. She received her degree in psychology from the university.
Molecular.
Of or relating to molecules, equals a group of two or more atoms held together by attractive forces known as chemical bonds.
Examples:
Molecular structure. Molecular biology. Molecular weight is the sum of all the atoms.
Biology.
The scientific study of life and the natural processes of living things.
Examples:
Evolutionary biology. Cell and molecular biology. In junior high school, we had to dissect a frog in biology class.
Linguistics.
The study of language and its structure, including the study of grammar, syntax, and phonetics.
Examples:
Comparative linguistics. Linguistics professor. A new study in linguistics research showed that bilingualism delays the onset of dementia.
Startup.
A newly established company or business.
Examples:
Startup business. Early stage startup. Our company's services are targeted at startup executives.
Impressive.
Arousing admiration due to size, quality, or skill.
Examples:
Impressive performances. An impressive array of facts. The budget reduction was an impressive feat for our nation.
Essentially.
Relating to the essential features or concepts of anything.
Examples:
Essentially correct. Become essentially same. Essentially, a society is an organism.
Medical.
Relating to the treatment of illness or injuries, relating to the practice of medicine.
Examples:
A medical opinion. Temporary medical treatment. The medical team worked quickly to save the patient's life.
Device.
A piece of equipment, tool, or technology that serves a particular purpose or function, often mechanical or electronic.
Examples:
Electronic device, tracking device. I always carry a backup device in case my phone runs out of battery.
Panel.
A square or rectangular and flat piece of something that forms a distinct section or component of something, a small group of specialists who discuss particular topics or give their advice or opinion about something.
Examples:
Panel discussion. Cost of solar panels. A panel of economic advisors from the United States visited the country to help rebuild its economy.
Stick.
To put something, usually a sharp object, into something, noun, a thin piece of wood or other material.
Examples:
Stick a key in a lock. Fire stick. You stick a bill in the change machine, and the coins pop out.
Needle.
A thin, pointed object typically used for sewing or medical purposes, a metal or plastic instrument used for administering injections or drawing blood.
Examples:
Needle prick. Sewing needle. The acupuncturist inserted needles into specific points on my body to alleviate my pain.
Predict.
To state beforehand that something will happen in the future, mainly based on knowledge or experience.
Examples:
Predict the future. Predict when she will arrive. It's notoriously challenging to predict birth rates.
Diagnose.
To determine or distinguish the nature of a problem or an illness through a careful analysis.
Examples:
Diagnose the problem. Diagnose with CT scans. This device is used to diagnose brain cancer and other tumors.
Frequent.
Happening constantly.
Examples:
Frequent absence. Frequent use. His heartaches are less frequent now.
Continuous.
Occurring or existing without a pause or interruption.
Examples:
Continuous improvement. A continuous row of warehouses. The heavy snow has been continuous since last morning.
Disease.
A disorder or illness that affects the body or mind, often characterized by specific symptoms or abnormal functioning of organs or systems.
Examples:
Disease prevention. Disease control. The doctor diagnosed him with a rare disease that had no known cure.
Confirm.
To support or establish the truth or certainty of something previously believed or suspected to be the case.
Examples:
Confirm the diagnosis. Confirm a transaction. Please write to confirm your reservation.
Journal.
A newspaper or magazine specialized in a specific topic or profession.
Examples:
Scientific journal. Journal articles. The physician is reading the journals related to medicine.
Healthcare.
The organized activity or business of preserving mental and physical health by preventing or treating illness through services offered by the health profession.
Examples:
Healthcare agency. Rising healthcare cost. In an aging population, citizens must pay more to maintain quality healthcare.
Heartbreak.
A feeling of great sadness or disappointment.
Examples:
Ease her heartbreak. Go through heartbreak. They had experienced the heartbreak of losing 2 children due to premature births.
Appeal.
A serious, earnest, or urgent request for money, information, or help, a quality that makes somebody or something attractive or interest.
Examples:
Draw out your appeal. An appeal for help. He needed to resolve the problem as soon as possible, so he made an appeal directly.
Thrive.
To grow vigorously, to make steady progress.
Examples:
Thrive in a society. Thrive on pressure. Without investment, a business cannot thrive.
Survive.
To live or exist despite a dangerous event or period.
Examples:
Survive a blizzard. Survive a plane crash. These birds can only survive in temperate climates.
Survivor.
A person who remains alive after an event in which others have died.
Examples:
Ovarian cancer survivor. A single survivor. The shipwreck survivor was rescued after floating in the ocean for 3 days.
Trail.
A path or track roughly through a countryside, mountain, or forest area, often made or used for a particular purpose. Verb, to lag or linger behind.
Examples:
A warm trail. Follow the trail. The storm left a trail of destruction behind it.
Astronaut.
A person trained by a space agency to travel outside the Earth's atmosphere.
Examples:
Astronaut mission. Astronaut in training. The shuttle astronaut trained for months before embarking on the space mission.
Victim.
A person who has been harmed, injured, or otherwise negatively affected by a particular action, circumstance, or event.
Examples:
Victim support. Victim compensation. The victim of the crime deserves justice and support to recover from the trauma.
Gunpoint.
The point of a gun used as a threat or in an armed robbery.
Examples:
Held at gunpoint. Gunpoint robbery. The robbers demanded money from the store clerk at gunpoint.
Assault.
A violent physical attack, the crime of forcing someone to submit to sexual intercourse against their will.
Examples:
Assault aircraft. Victim of sexual assault. We got caught up in an assault case.
Spur.
A thing that encourages someone to do something. Any sharply pointed projection, verb, to incite or stimulate someone or something.
Examples:
Spur of the moment. Spur momentum of economic growth. The threat of losing his job was the spur he needed to work harder.
Severe.
Extremely serious or bad in feeling, manner, or strict and harsh, extremely strong or vigorous.
Examples:
Severe heat. A severe case of pneumonia. The senator received severe criticism from his opponent.
Panic.
A sudden strong feeling of fear that cannot be controlled and prevents reasonable thought and action.
Examples:
A panic reaction. Panic buying. The participation of oil-producing countries in the war caused panic in the financial markets.
Reconsider.
To think about a decision or opinion again to.
Examples:
Reconsider the determination. Reconsider my transfer. He humbly reconsidered his conduct.
Background.
The details of a person's social heritage, such as family, vocational or educational experience, past information that is essential to understanding a situation or problem.
Examples:
A background color. A criminal background. The company's hiring criteria emphasize personality, not a person's background.
Committed.
Willing to put in a lot of effort, time, and energy into something, firmly believing in something.
Examples:
In a committed relationship. Strong and committed sales staff. Our company is strongly committed to meeting customers' needs.
Intelligence.
The ability to learn, comprehend, or make judgments or conclusions based on reasons.
Examples:
An intelligence test. Field of artificial intelligence. In terms of intelligence, he was head and shoulders above his classmates.
Anchor.
A device, typically made of metal, that is used to moor a ship or boat in a particular place, typically by being dropped to the seabed, a central cohesive source of support and stability.
Examples:
Anchor bolt. Anchor weight. The ship dropped anchor in the bay.
Excite.
To make someone feel suddenly enthusiastic or eager.
Examples:
Excite the crowd. Excite rebellion. The news of her promotion excited her.
Opportune.
Suitable or happening at a time that is suitable or convenient for a particular purpose.
Examples:
Opportune occasion. An opportune remark. The phone rang at the most opportune time.
Contribute.
To give something, especially money or goods, to provide or achieve something together with other people.
Examples:
Contribute a large sum of money to the fund. Contribute to society. Government workers cannot contribute to political campaigns.
Anticipate.
To expect or predict that something will happen, to tell in advance.
Examples:
Anticipate your kind cooperation. Anticipate a black future. We anticipate heavy snowfall tomorrow.
Associate.
To mentally connect someone or something with someone or something else.
Examples:
Associate alcohol with gambling. Associate with people widely. The majority of consumers associate this brand with quality.
Lab.
A workplace for the conduct of scientific research, a laboratory.
Examples:
Lab instrument. Medical lab. The Prime Minister will pay a courtesy visit to the Nobel laureate's lab.
Dataset.
A structured collection of data that is compiled and processed in a computer system or program, typically for analysis, research, or machine learning purposes.
Examples:
Dataset analysis. Publicly available dataset. The scientist analyzed the large dataset to conclude the experiment.
Rid.
To make someone or something free of unwanted or unpleasant tasks, objects, or person.
Examples:
Get rid of the rats. Rid the body of waste products. We must rid ourselves of pollution.
Accuracy.
The state or degree of being exact or correct, the ability to perform something with proficiency and without mistake.
Examples:
Degree of accuracy. The accuracy of his compass. To assure accuracy, I recommend investing in high-quality test kits.
Constitute.
To be the essential or fundamental elements or parts of something. To establish, appoint, or assign someone to a particular office or position. To make up or compose something.
Examples:
Constitute a threat. Constitute a majority. The new regulations constitute a significant change in the industry standards.
Delete.
To remove something, especially that has been written, to wipe out digitally or magnetically recorded information.
Examples:
Delete a file. Delete this modification. Highlight the sentences that you want to delete.
Viol.
A stringed instrument, typically with 6 strings and frets, played with a bow, also called a viola da gamba.
Examples:
Viol instrument. Viol music. The viol player was rehearsing for an upcoming concert.
Process.
A series of actions or operations performed to achieve a particular outcome or goal, a systematic procedure or approach used to accomplish a specific task or objective, a method of treating milk to make it suitable for consumption or use in other dairy products.
Examples:
Process improvement. Decision-making process. The process for applying for a visa can be lengthy and complicated.
Rev.
A measure of the rate at which an engine or motor rotates, often expressed in revolutions per minute, RPM, verb, to increase the number of rotations per minute.
Examples:
Low rev engine. Rev up the crowd. He stepped on the gas pedal, and the engine released a loud rev.
Tempting.
Likely to attract or persuade someone to do something, especially something that may not be wise or safe.
Examples:
Tempting offer. Sound very tempting. The chocolate cake was too tempting for me to resist.
Scenario.
A description of possible actions or events in the future, a written outline of a play, film, or literary work.
Examples:
The worst case scenario. Number of different scenarios. The president prepared several possible scenarios for an enemy attack.
Narrative.
A story or a description of a series of events or process of telling a story.
Examples:
Narrative poetry. Personal narrative. The narrative handles multiple plot lines and has unpredictable ends.
Consequence.
The outcome of a particular action or event, especially relative to an individual.
Examples:
Unintended consequences. The consequence of an argument. These economic activities had disastrous environmental consequences.
Immediately.
Now or without delay.
Examples:
Immediately recall a product. Write him an answer immediately. A suspension order from the court is effective immediately.
Clinical.
Of or relating to the examination and treatment of patients rather than theoretical or laboratory studies.
Examples:
Clinical surgery. Participate in clinical trials. She received special clinical training at the hospital.
Laboratory.
A workplace for doing scientific research or teaching science, a lab.
Examples:
Laboratory accident. Anthropology laboratory. Animal protection groups call for an end to animal testing in a laboratory.
Concentration.
The ability to focus all your time and energy on one thing without thinking about anything else.
Examples:
Concentration of armaments. His research area of concentration. This exam requires excellent concentration to pass.
Indicator.
Something that shows or points out what a situation is like or how a situation is changing.
Examples:
Indicator lamp. Performance indicators. Several IT millionaires have shown that the level of education is a relatively poor indicator of whether a business can be successfully run.
Prostate.
A small gland located near the bladder, equals an organ located in the lower abdomen, in males that produces fluid that becomes part of semen.
Examples:
Prostate surgery. Enlarged prostate. Men over the age of 50 are at a higher risk for prostate cancer.
Cancer.
Abnormal growth of cells that can invade and destroy surrounding tissues and organs. A disease characterized by the uncontrolled growth and spread of abnormal cells.
Examples:
Cancer diagnosis. Cancer research. Breast cancer is the most common type of cancer in women.
Technique.
A particular way or art of doing something that needs skill.
Examples:
A technique in martial arts. The technique applied to construction. Jockey's superior technique brought him victory.
Accurate.
Correct and exact in all details.
Examples:
Provide accurate information. Accurate measurements. The official transcript contains accurate academic records.
Instance.
A particular example or single occurrence of something.
Examples:
For instance. Notable instance. These articles cite 5 instances of climate change.
Suppose.
To think that something is likely to be actual or possible.
Examples:
Suppose you're right. Suppose beforehand. What do you suppose the culprit's motive was?
Certify.
To formally state, especially in writing, that something is true.
Examples:
Certify product quality. Certify the authenticity of the painting. As a witness, I can certify his innocence.
Regulator.
A person or thing that controls or balances something. A person or an organization that is responsible for control and supervision of a particular activity or area of public interest.
Examples:
Regulator body. A speed regulator. The financial industry regulator was responsible for ensuring that companies followed the laws.
Norm.
Something that is regarded as usual, typical, or standard.
Examples:
Norm of action. Cultural norm. The systems we have developed has accepted as industry norms.
Workflow.
The sequence of industrial, administrative, or other processes through which a piece of work passes from initiation to completion. The system of procedures, people, and resources that contribute to an organization's productivity and efficiency.
Examples:
Streamline workflow. Optimized workflow. Our team needs to reevaluate our workflow to increase efficiency and productivity.
Normally.
Usually, under normal conditions.
Examples:
Complete normally. Not normally drink much. I don't normally take a vacation in the middle of summer.
Discrepancy.
A lack of consistency or agreement between two or more facts, figures, or sets of information, a disagreement, inconsistency, or divergence.
Examples:
Significant discrepancy. A discrepancy in the report. There is a discrepancy between the study's findings and the collected data.
Grad.
Informal for graduate, a student who has recently graduated or is about to graduate from a school, college, or university.
Examples:
High school grad. Grad student. He was proud to be a grad of the prestigious university.
Experiment.
The scientific test conducted to observe what happens and gain new knowledge.
Examples:
Experiment design. Series of experiments. His experiments showed highly positive results.
Compile.
To create a book, a list, a report, etc., by combining various objects, articles, music, etc.
Examples:
Compile a biography. Compile the data. We are attempting to compile a list of qualified candidates for the position.
Coo.
A low, soft, murmuring sound made by a dove, pigeon, or other bird, an expression of tenderness or affection, stands for Chief Operating Officer, a senior executive position in an organization responsible for overseeing the day-to-day operations and managing various departments and functions within the company.
Examples:
Baby coup. The COO of the company. The baby let out a gentle coo as she was rocked to sleep.
Variability.
The fact or quality of something being likely to vary.
Examples:
Natural variability. Climate variability. There is considerable variability in all the test scores.
Colleague.
One of a group of a coworker, especially in a profession or a business.
Examples:
Collaborate with colleagues. Former colleague. I decided to seek counseling on the advice of my colleague.
Befriend.
To become a friend of someone, especially when in need.
Examples:
Befriend a young boy. Befriend other members. I'm willing to befriend the weak and the poor.
Decide.
To make up someone's mind about something. To come to a conclusion or judgment after considering options.
Examples:
Decide a question. Decide on a course of action. She couldn't decide whether to order the pizza or the pasta for dinner.
Mention.
To speak or write about something or someone briefly.
Examples:
Mention name. Mention in a report. I mentioned to him that I had seen his sister at the grocery store earlier that day.
Secretary.
A person whose job is to deal with correspondence, keep records, and do administrative work for a company or organization.
Examples:
A confidential secretary. Secretary General. The chief secretary was responsible for organizing the meeting.
Statistics.
The discipline that concerns the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data.
Examples:
Statistics for cancer. Official statistics. The statistics demonstrate that poverty and unemployment are genuine problems.
Standby.
A state of readiness or preparedness, especially in anticipation of an event or situation. A backup or reserve option or plan available in case of need.
Examples:
Airline standby ticket. Standby power. I'm in standby mode, awaiting the phone call from the job I interviewed for.
Split.
To divide, or to make something divide into two or more parts, especially along a particular line.
Examples:
Split a bill. Split a reward equally. Companies often split their shares to lower the stock price and encourage investors to buy.
Wealth.
A large amount of money, property, or other things that someone or an organization owns.
Examples:
Majority of his wealth. Material wealth. The wealth inequality was unavoidable.
Intelligent.
Having the capacity for thought and reason, especially to a high degree.
Examples:
An intelligent person. Intelligent assisting system. Intelligent robots that can cooperate with humans have limited motor output for safety.
Revolutionize.
To bring about a complete or radical change in something, often through the introduction of new methods or ideas.
Examples:
Revolutionize the industry. Revolutionize the technology. The invention of the smartphone revolutionized the way we communicate with each other.
Quitter.
A person who gives up easily or does not have the determination to finish what they have started.
Examples:
Easy quitter. Serial quitter. He was labeled as a quitter after he abandoned the project halfway.
Thread.
A fine cord of natural or synthetic fibers or filaments, such as cotton or nylon, used in sewing, knitting, or weaving. A series of connected messages or comments on a social media platform or online forum, often related to a particular topic. A sequence or line of events, ideas, or actions that are connected or related. Verb. To pass a thread through a needle or other small opening. In preparation for sewing or stitching.
Examples:
Thread a catheter. Start a new thread. The detective followed a thread of clues which ultimately led to the suspect's arrest.
Crazy.
Stupid or not sensible, very angry.
Examples:
Crazy about cars and racing. A crazy scheme. The rain and thunder are crazy today.
Talented.
Having a natural ability or aptitude for something, showing exceptional skill or ability in a particular area.
Examples:
A very talented actor. Talented athlete. She is a talented musician, able to play several instruments.
Journalist.
A person who collects and writes news stories or articles for newspapers, magazines, radio, television, or other online media.
Examples:
A China-based journalist. Journalist on a magazine. Foreign TV crews and journalists can go as they please in various locations during the Olympics.
Industrious.
Hardworking, diligent, and persistent in effort.
Examples:
Industrious worker. Industrious student. He was known to be very industrious and would often work late into the night.
Scared.
Afraid or frightened.
Examples:
scared all the time. Scared dog. I'm scared of insects.
Expose.
To show something by uncovering it, to make something accessible to some action or influence.
Examples.
Expose a crime. Expose a person to risks. That newspaper exposed a political scandal in a big way.
Investigate.
To conduct a systematic or formal inquiry to identify and evaluate the facts of a crime, problem, statement, etc., to establish the truth.
Examples.
Investigate the matter. Investigate a data leak. The committee investigated several apparent inconsistencies.
Witch.
A person, typically a woman, who is believed to have magic powers and practices witchcraft.
Examples.
Witch hunt. Witch trial. Many people in the medieval period believed in witches and their ability to cast spells.
Hunt.
To go after and try to catch wild animals to kill them for food, sport, or profit.
Examples.
Hunt a job. Hunt after knowledge. Hounds hunt their prey by using their keen scent.
Employ.
To give somebody a job and pay them for it, to make use of.
Examples.
Employ job seekers. Employ a new method. When making arrests, police officers frequently employ excessive force.
Intimidate.
To make someone fearful or uneasy so that they will do something that you want them to do.
Examples.
Intimidate an opponent. Effectively intimidate a thief. The boss tried to intimidate his subordinate with threats.
Scare.
To frighten a person or animal, or to become frightened.
Examples.
Scare off her attacker by screaming. Scare the birds away. We hit the ground to scare out the rabbits.
Trigger.
To make something happen suddenly. To cause something such as a device, machine, etc., to function.
Examples.
Trigger a biochemical response. Trigger inflation. The incident triggered a political controversy.
Blessing.
A gift or favor from a higher power or force, an act or expression of approval, encouragement, or gratitude, something that brings happiness or good fortune.
Examples.
Count your blessings. Bestowed blessings. Receiving support from his friends was a great blessing in his time of need.
Regulatory.
Having the power to control or restrict something such as business or industry according to rules or principles.
Examples.
Regulatory cells. Compliance with regulatory requirements. In the past, Japanese banks were protected by regulatory control.
Inexperienced.
Lacking experience or knowledge in a particular field or situation, not accustomed to a specific kind of work or activity.
Examples:
Inexperienced actor. Inexperienced employee. The young doctor was inexperienced in handling such a complicated case.
Complaint.
A statement that expresses dissatisfaction or annoyance about something.
Examples:
Complaint department. Complaint about price gouging. She filed a complaint with the manager about the poor service.
Illustrate.
To provide pictures, photographs, diagrams, etc. in a book or something for explanation.
Examples:
Illustrate a key point. Illustrate a story. The company's financial records illustrate how successful it has been.
Deficiency.
The state of lack, or not having enough of, something that is essential.
Examples:
A deficiency of copper and zinc. A mild degree of mental deficiency. Vitamin deficiency can lead to various illnesses.
Endear.
To make someone loved or appreciated, or to cause someone to feel fondness or affection for someone or something.
Examples:
Endear a character to young readers. Endear to everyone. The baby's smile endeared her to everyone who saw her.
Dragon.
A mythical monster, typically depicted as a giant reptile with wings, claws, and a fiery breath, often portrayed as being fierce and dangerous.
Examples:
Dragon fruit. Dragon wing. In Chinese mythology, dragons are considered powerful and benevolent creatures.
Slay.
To kill violently, especially with a weapon.
Examples:
Slay a dragon. Slay civilians. The singer slayed the audience with her powerful voice and amazing performance.
Behemoth.
Something extremely large and powerful, a huge or monstrous creature, often mythical in nature.
Examples:
Behemoth company. Technology behemoth. The construction site was filled with behemoth machines.
Domino.
A small, flat, rectangular block used in a game that has pairs of dots on one or both sides, a consequence of an event that sets off a chain reaction of similar events.
Examples:
Domino chain. Domino effect. We knocked over a stack of dominoes and watched them fall one by one.
Courageous.
Able to face and deal with danger or fear without flinching.
Examples:
Make a courageous decision. Courageous rescue attempt. He was a courageous soldier who had served his country with honor.
Terrify.
To frighten someone very much.
Examples:
Terrify people. The threats terrify him. It would be best not to terrify your associates into doing complex tasks.
Anxious.
Worried and nervous.
Examples:
Anxious about his health. An anxious look. He cast anxious glances behind her.
Ashamed.
Feeling guilt, embarrassment, or remorse about something because of something you have done.
Examples:
Feel ashamed of him. Cast ashamed eyes. You don't have to be ashamed.
Slightly.
In a small degree or extent, a little.
Examples:
Increase slightly. Slightly alkaline soils. He moved his body slightly to the left.
Glimmer.
A flash of light, especially unsteady or reflected light, a slight sign of something.
Examples:
Without a glimmer of truth. Give a glimmer of light. There is, however, a glimmer of hope.
Emotion.
A strong feeling such as love, anger, etc., deriving from one's situation, mood, or relationships with others.
Examples:
Control my emotion. Afraid to show emotion. Some emotions are common across cultures and backgrounds.
Volatile.
Likely to change rapidly or unexpectedly, or being unstable or explosive.
Examples:
Highly volatile elements. Volatile markets. Their relationship was volatile and prone to sudden outbursts of anger.
Investigation.
The act or process of thoroughly examining a crime, problem, statement, etc., to uncover the truth.
Examples:
A preliminary investigation. The scope of an investigation. We have never before conducted a legitimate investigation.
Culminate.
To reach a peak or climax.
Examples:
Culminate in a heart attack. Culminate in failure. The event will culminate in a grand fireworks display.
Recipe.
A set of instructions for preparing a dish, including the ingredients and the method of cooking.
Examples:
Recipe book. Recipe collection. The recipe for the cake is passed down from generation to generation in her family.
Frank.
Honest and sincere, open and candid in expression.
Examples:
frank and open discussion. Make a frank apology. Full involvement means frank and prompt responses.
Quote:
To repeat or reproduce the words or statement of someone else, often acknowledging the source. To give an estimated cost or price for goods or services.
Examples:
Quote a source. Quote a price. In his speech, he quoted a famous philosopher to emphasize his point.
Punch:
To strike someone or something with one's fist, to make a hole in something.
Examples:
Punch out numbers. Punch a ticket. He punched the wall in anger.
Convene:
To come or bring together a group of people for a meeting or activity.
Examples:
Convene a press conference. Convene the council. The Parliament will convene at 1 p.m. tomorrow.
Innovative:
Introducing or using new methods, ideas, etc.
Examples:
Use of innovative technology. Stylistically innovative works. The Prime Minister stressed the need to create innovative industries.
Ambitious:
Having a great desire to attain achievement, power, or wealth.
Examples:
Achieve ambitious goals. With an ambitious eye. Their company has been in business for a short time, but has ambitious goals.
Vision:
The ability to think about or see the future with imagination and intelligence, the faculty of being able to see.
Examples:
A prodigious vision. Telescopic vision. Driving is difficult for me because of my poor vision.
Compelling:
Arousing strong and irresistible interest, attention, or admiration.
Examples:
Tell a compelling story. New and compelling evidence. His compelling presentation deeply moved everyone.
Desire:
A strong feeling of wanting to have or do something.
Examples:
Unsatisfied desire. Fleshly desire. Low sexual desire typically correlates with low testosterone levels.
Judgment:
The ability to form valuable opinions and make reasonable decisions.
Examples:
An emotional judgment. Deliver a judgment. Her judgments are consistently rational and sensible.
Detriment:
Something that causes harm, injury, or damage.
Examples:
Detriment of society. Bring great detriment. The new approach resulted in a significant detriment to the local economy.
Mechanism.
A part of a machine, or a set of parts that performs a task, a natural or established process that occurs during a specific situation or reaction.
Examples:
The mechanism for DNA replication. Defense mechanism. He discovered unique mechanisms for photochemical reactions.
Foster.
To promote a growth, to take care of another person's child, usually for a limited time, without becoming their legal parents.
Examples:
Foster a better relationship. Foster 2 kids. The pastor contributed to fostering the sense of a community embracing all classes.
Straightforward.
Easy to do or understand, or simple, free from ambiguity.
Examples:
Straightforward manner. Make a straightforward dash. The defendant gave a straightforward and accurate description of the accident.
Frame.
A strong border or structure of the wood, metal, etc. that surrounds something such as a picture, door, or window.
Examples:
A picture frame. The frame of the policy. The detective looked for fingerprints on the window frame.
Decision.
The act or process of making up someone's mind about something, a choice or judgment reached after considering options.
Examples:
Decision authority. A selfish decision. She was struggling to make a decision between 2 job offers.
Ethics.
A branch of philosophy that considers what is morally right and wrong conduct, a set of beliefs about what is morally right and wrong.
Examples:
Political ethics. Ethics of journalism. This scripture provides the code of ethics for the religion.
Outcome.
The result or effect of an action, event, etc.
Examples:
Improved student outcomes. A desirable outcome. They awaited news of the outcome of the election.
Framework.
The structural components of a building or object that support its weight and give it form, the underlying structure of a system, concept, or text.
Examples:
Legal framework. The framework of a house. He devised a new analytical framework to capture the phenomenon.
Commitment.
A promise or firm decision to do something or to behave in a certain way.
Examples:
A commitment to an alliance. Meet his commitments. His business commitments took him to the United States.
Conscious.
Being aware of and able to respond to what is happening around you.
Examples:
Conscious effort. Conscious of having succeeded. He became conscious that he was being followed.
Competent.
Having the necessary ability, knowledge, or skill to do something successfully.
Examples:
Competent authority. Competent personnel. The judge ruled that the defendant was competent to stand trial.
Regardless.
Not paying attention or considering something or someone even if the situation is bad or there are difficulties.
Examples:
Regardless of the difficulties. Regardless tread. People can pick out superior products regardless of the quality of the advertising.
Purgatory.
A place or state of temporary punishment for the souls of those who die in a state of grace but have not fully atoned for their sins.
Examples:
Purgatory state. Purgatory existence. In Catholic theology, purgatory is a state of temporary punishment for sins.
Silent.
Without any or little sound.
Examples:
Silent reading. Give silent consent. The politician remained silent despite intense media scrutiny.
Awareness.
The fact or state of knowing something exists and is important.
Examples:
Awareness of my ignorance. Raise public awareness. There has been a gradual but steady rise in environmental awareness.
Consistent.
Always behaving or happening in the same way, or having the same thoughts, standards, etc.
Examples:
Do on a consistent basis. Get consistent results. You are not consistent in your behavior.
Moral.
Concerned with the principles of what is right and wrong, fairness, honesty, etc.
Examples:
Moral hazard. Moral burden. Ethics deals with moral conduct.
Conviction.
A strong belief or opinion, especially one that is based on principles or evidence, criminal law, a final judgment of guilty in a criminal case and the punishment that is imposed.
Examples:
Moral conviction. Conviction for murder. She spoke with conviction about the importance of education.
Aspect.
One part or feature of a situation, problem, subject, etc.
Examples:
Non-technical aspects of the job. Aspects of social, political, and economic life. His professional experience includes all aspects of media production.
Evaluate.
To assess or estimate the quality, significance, quantity, or value of something.
Examples:
Evaluate the grant proposal. Evaluate a situation. The meeting aims to evaluate possible choices.
Foresee.
To perceive or predict, to anticipate or expect something to happen in the future.
Examples:
Foresee the consequences. Foresee challenges. I foresee a problem arising if we don't address this issue now.
Spouse.
A person's husband, wife, or partner in marriage.
Examples:
Spouse tax deduction. Spouse visa. The spouse of the politician was a constant presence at campaign events.
Communal.
Belonging to or used by a group rather than individuals, for common use.
Examples:
Communal swimming pool. Communal combination of funds. Communal elections were held in several European countries.
Venture.
A business project or activity that is risky or daring.
Examples:
Venture capital. A joint venture. The venture into the new market was risky, but it paid off.
Concept.
An idea or principle associated with something abstract.
Examples:
Learn new concepts. Concept car. One such rapidly growing concept is quantum cryptography.